Well, state legislators are preparing for the start of this 2010 session, and joining us this morning, Representative Al Park, a Democrat from Albuquerque, and of course Representative Tom Taylor, a Republican from Farmington, and the House Minority Leader. Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you so much for getting up so early. Of course, the big thing is the budget, $600 million gap. How positive are you that we're actually going to work through this and come out balanced?
Well, I think the answer is we're going to have to. We have a constitutional requirement that we have a balanced budget. So for the next 30 days, you're going to see sort of the general alarm being sounded and all hands on deck trying to figure out how we can trim the budget and make sure that we can continue to provide critical services for the citizens of New Mexico. And those include things like Medicaid and public school education.
So is there, go ahead.
To give you an idea of the magnitude, if we decided to use furloughs to fix our problem, we'd have to furlough about 420 days over the next year.
I see. So what are the most promising chunks to work at? We've heard about, tax hikes. We've heard about cutting back on state services.
The bottom line is that everything right now is on the table. What we do know is that the only way we're going to balance our budget in this coming session is with a mixture of both revenue enhancements as well as government efficiencies. We're going to have to make state government leaner, meaner, more efficient. We're going to have to reduce government spending. That's the only way we can solve this crisis.
It's an opportunity, really. The only time governments have an opportunity to prioritize is when we don't have money. When there's a lot of money there, then there's always needs, people wanting money for various kinds of things. So it really is an opportunity for the government to take a look at what we do and how we do it. We're not 100% efficient by any stretch.
And just this last week, Governor Carruthers' task force on the government efficiency just came out and explained that if we make some changes, we can save up to $129 million in state funding. Representative Taylor and I completely agree that in this crisis, this is an incredible opportunity to make our state government more efficient and really get the taxpayers a bigger bang for their buck.
Now, there are a lot of other subjects that are being discussed and looked at during this. Whether you get time or not is a big question. Let's talk a little bit about texting and also DWI mandatory time for DWI drivers. Sure. Let's start with texting.
Sure. And Tom, last session there was joint bills in both the House and the Senate to prohibit texting while driving. We've all been on the road and seen someone not paying attention, trying to text. It's just, I can't. I mean, I think it's impossible to do it. And it failed last year as a lack of time. I think this year the votes are there to pass it. It really is a public safety issue, and it's really important.
Representative Taylor, let's say texting, you think it has a good chance, and what about the DWI mandatory time?
Well, DWI mandatory time, we've made great strides in the DWI death toll around the state, especially in our area in San Juan County. It's gone down tremendously over the past 12, 15 years. It's an effort that we have to continue to work on. Certainly things have changed in that area, so we do know that things are effective that we're doing. But there are people that manage to slip through the process. And
so do you think it's a good idea?
I do, yes.
All right. Let's go ahead and talk about something else that's quite controversial during this session. It's been attempted before, and that's same-sex marriage.
Well, the issue isn't really same-sex marriage, but the issue that the legislature has been considering for so many years is domestic partner legislation. It's different from marriage. It allows two people, whether they be of the same sex or opposite sex, to engage in what really is a binding relationship, a legal contract to provide for one another. It allows the passage of if one partner dies, they can do their wills, and it allows them to visit one another in the hospital, and it allows people to do that and honor a long-time loving commitment without going to having the legal expense of having a lawyer and having all those documents drawn up.
But Representative Taylor, there are those who bring this forward as a same-sex issue.
Well, it's a borderline issue, and I think that's just simply philosophy differences. I mean, it's, there are certain, there's a group of people, a large group of people in the country who believe that it's wrong for whatever reason. It's one of the freedoms that we have is to make those kinds of decisions. And, there are concerns that the domestic partnership proposals as they are begin to chip away at the institution of marriage.
All right. Well, I want to thank you both again for getting up early. Good luck over the next 30 days. Of course, we'll have full coverage. Don't go away. Meteorologist Jason Laney has your complete morning forecast when we come back. The time right now is 5:52. Good morning, everybody.